From Lalate News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is the Midday Report on Lalate.
It's a big noontime as I'm back with your incredible details about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. Today, we'll be going over the breaking news as the Democrats still want you to have that fourth stimulus check. We'll be going over the breaking news that signals that maybe that House proposal may be giving you a lot more checks. OMG. In the second part of this video, we'll be going over the two-path process. The paths are the recon, where your stimulus is, and the roads and bridges, which I don't want to buy. I don't want your bridge. And then in the third part of this video, we'll go over linkage and why how they call the vote is more critical than when they call the vote. We'll explain the details and why. There's wonderful news coming out at noontime. You're going to hear for the first time, OMG. Then we cut to fifth stimulus, which heats up this fall, and new incredible details about how that benefits may be going up a lot more, and another stimulus check. And then we'll go over all the details about why viewers are getting $10,000 a day from this channel. I'll be going over how you can get that money as well. It's a big noontime. It's a big, exciting day. Let's get to the breaking news, starting right here, right now, on Noontime Lalate. Good noontime, everybody. How are you doing this June 30th at noontime? It's good to be back. I'm excited to be back. How you doing? Boy, the weather is beautiful in LA, but it's been a little bit muggy. Can we cut the mugginess? Other than that, it's been wonderful here in Santa Monica, where I'm live with you at this noontime broadcast. How's the weather where you are? Jump in the live chat and tell me where you're tuned in from, and how's the weather? Boy, we got so much breaking news in this fourth stimulus today. We'll be going over the monthly stimulus checks, but we'll be looking at whether that House proposal, actually House bill, may be giving you more checks than we initially thought just a few days ago. OMG. In the second part of this video, we'll be going over the two-path process. Recon, which may be getting a lot more checks in there for a lot of other things that we never heard before. Yes, it's getting delicious at noontime. Then we can turn to the third part of fourth stimulus, which involves how they call the vote. And it's wonderful, as three forces are protecting your recon. I'll go over all the details. We also cut to fifth stimulus, which raises your benefits up and has a new stimulus check for next year. And we'll go over the thousands of dollars that viewers are getting every day. My goodness, there's so much happening. And this is Lalate, America's only 24-hour-a-day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America. Live in the morning like right now, and taped in the afternoon. I'm back with new shows this afternoon at Afternoons Lalate at 3 o'clock, Evenings Lalate at 5, and then Overnight's Crypto at 5:30. So hit that subscribe button right now. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube one-year record, next stop 1 million. Also, like this video. Every time you like the video, it delivers you a copy of Mitch's mixtape. And consider becoming a member. Let's get right into that monthly stimulus check and why the breaking news may suggest the House may be getting you more checks. OMG. It's all breaking at noontime. When we looked at the House versus Senate and we voted on them as viewers in the last few days, we had talked about the differences. Let's look over those differences again. House bill, pandemic plus 1 year, monthly, pandemic plus 1 year. Senate, July to December. Then we went to the payouts. The payouts were different. House, $1,000 a month after the first month of $2,000. Senators, monthly, a amount unknown, but word on the street is it's this. Wow, now that's deliciousness. $2,000 over 6 months, $12,000, or $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400. Now, you heard me deliver the breaking news yesterday and the day before that the mask mandate is back on in LA County in form. Now, LA County has indicated that the pandemic is not over. The Delta variant is 50% of all cases in LA County, and they are recommending vaccinated people to wear masks indoors. Well, that may signal that the pandemic is not over and that the House bill would provide you pandemic plus 1 year, a lot more checks. But what did Warren Buffett, the Berkshire Hathaway head, say this morning? He thinks the pandemic's not over. OMG. That means that maybe the House would provide you more than 12 checks, which would be more than $13,000. So let's compare that to the Senate. I think you have an opinion, and the opinion may be different than 2 days ago. Jump in the live chat right now and vote House or Senate. House or Senate. Tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. Wow, things are always changing, aren't they? Well, there you go. Who gets that fourth stimulus check? Democrats represent, if you're a single individual, 75,000 or less, they're going to give you a fourth stimulus check. In fact, they want to give a stimulus check to everyone who got a third one. Married couple, 150,000 less, Democrats would give you a fourth stimulus check. Double it. Family of four, Democrats would give you a fourth stimulus check. Quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, Democrats would give you a fourth stimulus check. The fourth stimulus check would be the same amount for everyone. The fourth stimulus check is not taxable, so it's not income. And the fourth stimulus check comes monthly. It doesn't come as a waivable check. It doesn't come in waves. So if you see the check at the lunch line today, getting the avocado toast, say, "Hey, check, how you doing? I see you checking out that avocado toast." And then the check doesn't respond back. It's not a waivable check. It cannot wave back at you. It can eat avocado toast, which matches the check itself, the green on green, but it can't wave back at you. I hope you choke on your toast. I hope your toast also. Don't get angry at the check. It just likes avocado toast. Don't take it out on that. The fourth stimulus check would come in the month of July, for the month of July, maybe with a side of avocado. In the month of August, for the month of August. Those Democrats represent that the final vote would be by July 4th. More about that final vote in just a second. But there you go. That is your big first part of your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. In the second part, we go over the two paths at issue: recon, that has your checks, and bridges. I don't want to bridge. No, that's not my path, your path. And then in the third part of this video, we go over linkage, not leakage, linkage. Like, breakfast linkage, sausage linkage. Yeah, that type of linkage. And calling the vote. It's so critical about how they call the vote more than when they call the vote. You'll see the breaking details and why it's wonderful news. But let's get a preview of the second half of this video, shall we? The second half talks about fifth stimulus, and we have big numbers about lumber, and we have big numbers about payroll numbers released this morning, and it signals your benefits are going up. You see how I use a lot of economic data on this channel, and this is great news for your benefits. SSI to VA, it's coming up in the second half of this video with a fifth stimulus check for next year. Yes, sirree. That's coming up later in this video. But let's get some money. If you're new to this channel, that is what I do. I get viewers money, and I lose my pen. Oh, here it is. If you're new to this channel, in fall of 2020, around December, it was sort of like now. People are saying, I need money. I need money. And it was Christmas, and second stimulus wasn't happening. Just like how it's now, and people were waiting for fourth stimulus. Well, I stepped up, I got viewers $250,000 for rent, utilities, and more. Like Tyrone, who got $15,000 for his family of four in Boston. Well, you have been doing wonders. And that's what I've been doing across the board. You have been stepping up and getting this big money. Nisi is an example of this channel. She has gotten $22,000 from the videos of this channel. And I'm going to show how you can get that money right now. We're going to go over rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and also homeowners utilities. And these are monies you can get. How much does it pay? I was saying it's $5,000 over 4 to 6 months. I was wrong. My videos has helped viewers get $10,000, $12,000, $9,000, $8,000 every single day. If you're on the live chat and you got rent or utilities, jump in the live chat right now. Why? Because it inspires everyone else. And also, if you've posted it before in the live chat, post it again, because it inspires other people to go get that money. And let's go over all the details. Get that pen and paper ready. And if it must be a Crayola crown, it's not muttered blue or murdered blue. It's violet. And it's not murdered violet either. So get that pen and paper ready. I'm going to go over the places you get that money from. Each place has different eligibility, so reach out to each one. If one says no, reach out to the next. We're going to go over 6 places. Here you go. City Hall, City House Authority. County Hall, County House Authority. State Hall, State House Authority. Keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage assistance because of COVID, utility assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know, like stimulus or Mitch's new R&B career. They don't know that. I don't want to know that. What is he going to cover? Who does he think he's singing for? I don't want to hear him sing. No, I'm sorry. So they don't know that. You don't want to know that. So there you go. Congratulations to Tim and Linda who got this wonderful money. And if you got that rent or any utilities, jump in the live chat. It inspires everyone else. The next part of the money is wonderful, and it's SNAP. And SNAP is money for food. Department of Agriculture is where you get it. And whether it's Art or Nisi or Gail, who got it for herself, or Lynn Glenn, who got it for herself, her son, or mom, viewers are getting it and that and something else. So get rent and get SNAP. And how much does it pay? A fortune. Viewers are getting $15,000 for a family of four in Hawaii. Wow. Why so much money? Because of two wonderful executive orders, one from Biden and one from Trump, that raised everyone's benefits up 15%. In the last 2 weeks, we've had viewers get $5,000, $6,000, and $7,000 for this. If you've gotten Snap, jump in the live chat. So there you go. You are killing the Snap. $15,000, $16,000 family of four in Hawaii. $5,000 for rent. You're killing it. I'm killing it. The check, not so much with the avocado toast. I'm not really killing it. Don't eat so quickly that avocado toast, Mr. Jack. And there you go. Well, I got more money for you, and we're only 11 minutes into this video. It is money coming back from your states. Oh boy. One of you got $5,000 for this. What is it? It is the money being returned due to overpayment of a computer error. The federal government has identified states as owing you money because they had overpaid you initially due to computer error and asked you to return it back to them. Nope. It was your money to keep, the federal government has said. So now it's being ordered back to you. Wow. Where is it? Well, it will land on the account that you have on file with your state's unemployment department. Can you track it? Yeah, call up your state's unemployment department and say, hi, where's that check due to me due to computer error? And can you track it with a computer that actually works this time? And there you go. And finally, the last pile of money is that IRS refund. If you got to that, jump in the live chat right now to inform everyone else. Margaret got it, Cod got it, Tim got it, Michael got it as well. How much is it? Let's say you had $9,000 of total unemployment benefits. You paid $5,000 taxes on that 2020 return, of which $4,000 was your taxes on unemployment benefits. Congratulations, you're getting back $4,000. When? This month. Where? Direct deposit. Otherwise in the mail. Can you track it? Yeah, about 70% of the time you can. Go to irs.gov, set up a username and password, and do a transcript search. You'll be shocked what it'll reveal. It'll reveal stuff that you never knew, some stuff that you really don't want to know. It will reveal the tax return you filed, the taxes you paid. It will reveal, really, what does Mitch do when he goes to jazzercise? It will reveal Mitch's favorite aerobics outfit. That'll reveal the tax return you're getting, and there you go. Is there anything more wonderful than that? There is. As we go into our second big update of forced stimulus starting right now. You know, we're in a much better place than we were a week ago. Why? Because your money is still in the same place, but now everyone understands where it is. A week ago today, your stimulus checks were in a massive reconciliation. Where are they today? They're in a reconciliation. So what's different? Over 3 weeks ago, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer were meeting with the president quietly and saying, Mr. President, the recon has some stuff in there that's a little too big. Can we take some of the stuff out and put it somewhere else? Sort of like a spin-off show. And the president said, I like that. So last Wednesday, they spun it off. They took roads and bridges off and spun them off in their own TV series about roads and bridges called Nash Bridges. The one with Don Johnson. No, not him. Not with the Barracuda. The other spinoff. It's called Bipartisan. And Bipartisan, the spinoff show, was born. Not coming to ABC anytime soon. The recon was spun off with a Bipartisan, which is roads and bridges, separate and apart from you. Now, why was this good? Several reasons, but the two major ones are, first, it made very clear that roads and bridges are now in the Bipartisan and they're not in the recon. And it made also clear that all your money stayed in the recon. And so suddenly what happened? The first major benefit of what happened, and this is really quite huge, is that there was no longer a concern of identity crisis. There was no longer a problem of pitching to the American people, what's yours? It was very clear. Over the last 4 weeks, we had naysayers. It's not in there. There's no stimulus in the forced stimulus. It's just roads and bridges. No. Those roads and bridges are now in their own path, thank you. There always was stimulus, but now we see where our stimulus is, because all that's left in recon is stimulus. Recon is all stimulus. There's nothing but stimulus in there. And you know when the message has gotten out very clearly, when Mitch McConnell is trashing it. And then you want to say, thank you, Mitch, because now you're telling the American people what we really have in our recon. When he looks at the recon, Mitch says, it's just a lot of progressiveness checks for people who don't need checks or are lazy. It's a Democratic wish list. It's socialism for checks for children and people to stay home. Checks for people who don't deserve checks. Thank you, Mitch. You just helped our identity crisis. Finally, Americans know that there was always forced stimulus in the recon. Now they really know it now that you're trashing it. I appreciate that. It also helped you a lot of other ways. And the other one is the protection. You're going to see in this video, and you're going to sort of sense, I remember that, where you've heard me read quotes from certain legislators, and they were referring to something back a few days ago. And then you're like, wait a second. You've been plotting this for a few weeks. Remember Jalapal had said, not last Friday, but the Friday before that the president praised her and the progressives for protecting her progressive policies in the recon. And we didn't know what she meant by protecting. And then we had Brian Schatz say the same thing, Democrat of Hawaii. The president said, thank you for protecting, that the president considers the progressive priorities, the president's progressive priorities. We didn't know what it meant then. Now we do. All the progressive loving checks and more checks was always in recon. And now that everything that doesn't concern progressives is out of recon, down the river, down in the next zip code, they have a beautiful fort, F-O-R-T, set up around the recon for all the progressiveness. Your checks from Jalapal, the climate from the president, which is very progressive, the CARES economy from the president, very progressive, the progressive policies of checks for seniors, checks for medicine, checks for children, checks for medical assistance, checks for housing. Housing? I never heard of housing from LA. Oh yeah, you're going to see later in this video that now progressives, now that they see there's a fort around the recon, they're actually adding to the progressive package. They're piling in. We'll have a direct quote from one progressive says he has housing relief in the forced stimulus, the recon, and he's adding into it to make sure that that fort is closed. The drawbridge is up over the moat and you can't get in. Mitch, don't knock on the door. We're not letting you in. So finally, do wonderful benefits. One, people know what's in there. And second, that it's very, very protected. So how do we get to this wonderful spot? We got to this wonderful spot where we understand that our relief is in there. And we got to this wonderful spot by understanding that your relief is protected by the progressives. By who else? But Jalapal. Jalapal had written that letter to Schumer about 2 weeks ago saying, Chuck, call the vote. That letter was signed by 12 House Democrats, who among the 100-plus House Democrats who written the president a letter saying, we're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Wow. Can we top that? We can. As 7 House Democrats who are on that House subcommittee, more about them in a second, wrote the president saying, Mr. President, we're going to be writing monthly stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Wow. Well, who are these people? These are the people who wrote your third stimulus recon check. And they represent they're writing your fourth stimulus recon check monthly now. And they represent they will be writing your fifth stimulus recon check for next year. Oh my goodness, I hear you saying that word recon a lot. I do, because that's what they do. They also wrote your first and second and third stimulus check. Wow, can we top that? That is wonderful news. We can. As the president 2 weeks ago got forced stimulus recon to the edge of the finish line by going overseas and getting the international agreement for the pay-fors for international corporate taxes raised to pay for recon. Notice how I'm saying the word recon a lot. Well, it's very obvious. Why? Because recon is paid for by corporate taxes, and bipartisan is paid for by never mentioning the word taxes. Mitch doesn't want to hear the word taxes, but recon is all about taxes. And the president plotted this out weeks ago. Yeah, you're seeing a trend here in this video. Yes, they've been plotting this for a while, the Democrats. The president had the idea to pay for recon by raising corporate taxes, but he had concerns that if he raised the corporate taxes, business may move overseas to where the corporate tax is lower. So he reached out to those other countries of lower corporate taxes and said, can you raise your rates? They said yes. To which he reached out to his staff and said, staff, can we go overseas and meet those countries in Christmas and bring them Jill's potpourri? The staff said, Mr. President, you can bring potpourri in June. People use potpourri in June. To which the president said, oh, brilliant. And then 2 weekends ago, the president went overseas and got those countries to sign on the dotted line now about corporate taxes internationally, which anchors for stimulus recon to the edge of the finish line for recon, because now it's easier for the Democratic caucus to pass the recon, which is paid for by corporate taxes, because the international provisions about corporate taxes for recon are in the international agreement. Wow, now that's wonderful news. Can we top that? We can. As we go into the major third part of this recording, the most important part of this recording, where we go over the voting process, the linkage, the calling the vote, and why the manner in which they call the vote is what's critical, not the day. We're going to see how this is absolutely becoming wonderful news, so you're informed about why the manner, how they call the vote, is what you want protection on. It's no longer an issue of whether you're getting it or how you're getting it. It's how they call the vote. And that's coming up in the second half of this video, plus fifth stimulus. But is there something more wonderful than that? Yes, the volunteers. If you need help with rent, utilities, food, or internet, and you haven't gotten it, then reach out to the volunteers. If you have got to, jump in the live chat and post it right now, because inspire other viewers to reach out to the volunteers. Where are they? Open the description of this video. Go down the description and you'll see the volunteers. They're separated. You'll see the community page. If there's emoji and then it says community page, news.lalate.com/community. Click the link and it'll send you over to the community page. It's separated. It has the volunteers separated from Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Reach out to them and they'll help you with rent, utilities, mortgage, and SNAP, like viewers who got $22,000 like Nisi. And there you go. Now, they cannot help you with a tostada. They cannot get you ingredients for $12 ice cream. And they cannot explain to you why $12 ice cream sort of tastes like $1 ice cream. But they can get you all the rest. And I'll be back in 60 seconds with you with big, exciting details. OMG, you're going to hear for the first time on Noontime, right after this commercial break. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join Lalate Daily for the excitement of the new Lalate live daily. The excitement starts on mornings Lalate at 9 a.m. Home Lalate returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons Lalate at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on Lalate. And the excitement continues at noontime with big exciting details about your fourth stimulus heating up in this second half of this video. There's a lot of checks in that fourth stimulus, and we're going to go over all the details about those checks. And then fifth stimulus has another check as well. So much details across the board. I'm excited for you, and boy, what a day it's going to be. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button right now. 400,000 subscribers at YouTube, a record. Next up, 1 million. Like the video. It helps in the algorithm rankings. It also delivers a piñata. And consider becoming a member. The link's at the top of the chat and the pinned comment. Thank you for the very nice comment by someone who tagged me to ban someone. And you're banned, because we do not need fake narratives in there. In fact, you're going to see in the second half of this video how there is not only checks for stuff, but there is checks for stuff that makes Mitch go crazy. So for that, troll, bye-bye, and we will be enjoying our checks. So let's get to the details. Fourth stimulus and fifth stimulus heats up, but the really exciting details is fifth stimulus at the moment. Let me go over that for a second before we get back to fourth stimulus. Fifth stimulus will have another stimulus check, and that stimulus check is being written for recon by that same House subcommittee. They wrote your first, second, third, they're writing your fourth, they represent, and they're writing the fifth. That would be for January, and it would go to a vote around October, November. November, and the legislative process would start in September. Great news with that. Second great news is the credible details of the president dedicating $1 billion to Social Security Administration to ensure that your checks going forward go out on time. This is fourth stimulus, fifth stimulus, and your benefits checks. I want to just insert an addition right here that I've had a couple of viewers send me private messages saying they never got your second or third stimulus check. That was one of my tough love moments. If you hadn't gotten your second stimulus check, you need to have filed a tax return by May 2020 to request it. If you haven't done it, go to a tax preparer right away and request it. Finally, the great news across the board is that whether it's JPOW, whether it's Wall Street, whether it's the PPI, the CPI, or the breaking news of financial data, which I'm going to go over in 1 second, everyone's saying inflation is going to hit its highest spot in December. This is huge because that's when they can apply your benchmark for inflation. The new economic data released this morning was absolutely incredible. Private payrolls rose 600 to 692,000, beating expectations, number one. Lumber fell by 40%, the biggest month-to-month drop to date. And we are awaiting that big jobs number tomorrow, which is incredible. Now, how does this fifth stimulus change your benefits? Let's go over all the incredible details starting right now. That SSI reform will start by raising everyone's benefits up one big time. Then they'll apply a benchmark, and that new benchmark will be inflation. They'll remove the asset limit, they'll remove the income exclusion, and remove the marriage penalty. Let's go over some of the details, which you have learned over time with these videos. But let me go over how this is getting even more fascinating. We understand that everyone's benefits will be raised up one time under fifth stimulus. Who's you? You, if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, survivor benefits, or multiple benefits, or calcino benefits. Calcino benefits? Then you understand they apply a benchmark every December. And you understand that benchmark is for next year's benefits. And you understand the new benchmark will be inflation. And you understand that inflation is going up. Very easy. Now you've learned in the last week from this channel that Jay Powell, your head of the Federal Reserve, says that inflation is going up and it's hitting that peak, that highest spot, in December when they apply your benchmark. This is huge because that's what you want. All that remains is them passing the bill and us seeing what the inflation rate is actually in that time, in December. Well, Wall Street is looking at about 10%. Let's use that number as an example. If that's the case, your benefits will be raised up 10%. Not just next year, a lifetime. Because once your benefits step up, they never step down. Wow, now this is wonderful news. So if next year the inflation rate is 2%, you'll be at +2, plus 10% lifetime. Oh my goodness. Then they're going to remove the asset cap dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't have more than $3,000 on hand. Now you'll be able to have some more than $3,000 on hand, some stimulus checks, and maybe a taco. They'll be able to remove the income cap dating back to a 1960 law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. Now you'll be able to if you wish. And finally, the marriage penalty is going to go away. Love is going to win, and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest. And viewers like Rob and Sandy will be able to get married and no longer fear the marriage penalty. And there you go. Now, if you're seeing viewers jump in the live chat today talking about the 5,000, 3,000, 10,000, 22,000 for Nisi, 10,000 for viewers across the board who are getting these big money, how are they doing it? And you see that they have a purple hawk next to their name. They're members. As members, I deliver daily to you the big money that you can get. When third stimulus was passed, I said to viewers, yeah, you'll get a $14 stimulus check. But we're not tracking checks on this channel. We're cashing checks. And what did viewers do? Instead of a $1,400 stimulus check, they got $14,000. They followed my advice and watched the videos, as Nisi said, and learned that they can get all these big monies. I break it down to you daily in a delivery from me, personally written to you, via the YouTube community page, all the big monies for you to get under third stimulus. They're application-based. And then I also deliver for you what's proposed under fourth and fifth stimulus. It's all incredible, great news. And with that, let's cut back to the finale of your fourth stimulus. Well, we now know that the situation is much better than a week ago. All your stimulus is still where it is. It is better in two regards. One, identity, because now everyone understands there's all this stimulus in there, except that troll. And everyone understands that it's divested and away from the roads and bridges, which no one really cares about because I don't want a bridge. Don't sell me one. So now we understand the stuff is separated. We also understand that there's a protection for the stuff. So what's the only remaining issue? How they vote. H-O-W, how they vote. Now, you and I know that everyone needs a check, but posting in the comments, what date am I going to get a check, is Donut Guy 1.0. The question is, how are they going to vote for our checks? Why? Let's go over all the details. There is different ways they can vote on the checks. One is they call the bipartisan for a vote first, then they call the recon after. Guess what? You get a date, and they call the bipartisan for a vote on a Thursday, and they call the vote for the recon on a Friday. And you're in the corner celebrating because you're not a viewer, not a subscriber, not a member, thinking, oh, congratulations, we got a date. And that doesn't pass. Yes, the date is not the issue. It's how they call the vote. Your bipartisan has to be, your recon has to be called first. Let's go over all the details. It's important to know how a vote is on a bill is called. In the House of Representatives, which bill, how, and when it's called for a vote is determined by one person, Speaker Nancy Pelosi. In the Senate, one person determines how, when, and where a bill is called for a vote. His name is Chuck Schumer. No one else determines that except those two people, the Majority Leader of the Senate and the Speaker of the House. This is wonderful news. Give you the summary before we go into the details. They have both said, and they're not changing, that they're calling the vote on your stuff first. Wow, now this is wonderful news. What do the naysayers want to do? They want your stuff called for a vote last, so it dies. So you don't want a date ad nauseam. You just don't want a given date. You want your date to go first. Let's go over what's happening here. What's happening here is that finally, everyone that is needed to protect you is protecting you. Jalapal issued a statement yesterday which said, under no case will we be calling a vote on the bipartisan before our recon. Pelosi issued a statement saying the same. And today, two more progressive Democrats issued statements as well, saying, guess what? Not only is there going to be linkage between the two paths and that the recon is called for a vote first, but the progressives are adding more checks in there. Yes, now that the fort is closed up and protected from all the naysayers, the progressives are adding in more checks for you. So let's go over what had happened. And here, what you're going to see for the first time on Noontime is that these dates refer to something 2 weeks ago. They've been preparing this for a while. They didn't just come up with this idea today. Jalapal said on 48 hours ago, we Democrats have an agenda that we have to accomplish, and linking the two bills, recon and bipartisan, is the only way we're going to get accomplished. We Democrats did a poll of our Democratic members 10 days ago. They've been planning this. They've been planning this. And the overwhelming majority of our Democrat caucus said they are not going to vote on the bipartisan deal without doing the reconciliation package first. They're very, very prepared. You see how this is sort of rolling out. Nancy Pelosi spoke a little bit even more aggressively. And suddenly, your Temple of Doom from 2020 is your Laura Croft of 2021, your hero. What did Nancy Pelosi say? She said, there ain't going to be no bipartisan bill unless we have the recon bill first. And as I said, there won't be a bipartisan bill unless we have a recon bill. Plain and simple. In fact, I use the word ain't. There ain't going to be a bipartisan bill unless we have a recon bill passed by the United States Senate. Done. Wow. That is wonderful. Can we get more wonderful than that? We can. As new reports indicate that over the last few weeks, the progressives, which now have everything in recon, all progressive, have, as the progressive caucus, been repeatedly dealing with the White House on putting in lot more progressive ideas and items in there, checks for you, than we had ever heard of before. In fact, here you go. Progressive Representative Richie Torres, a Democrat out of New York, said that he has included affordable housing in the forced stimulus recon. See, there's a lot more progressiveness in this forced stimulus than we had ever heard, because they're keeping it away and protected in the fort. He says the linkage, linking the recon and the bipartisan for a vote at the same time, is non-negotiable for me. They have to happen. I will refuse to vote on any bill that fails to be linked to the larger recon bill. Say that he has to have his affordable housing in there. Then Representative Ilhan Omar, Democrat of Minnesota, said today, we Democrats have a commitment that whatever happens with the bipartisan legislation, they will give us a recon legislation that goes as far as we want. Case over. Done. Absolutely wonderful. Now you see that it's no longer an issue of whether there's two paths. It's no longer an issue of whether your checks are in there. It might be an issue of how many checks are in there, because suddenly it's getting really sort of bigger than we thought it was before. But the only issue that remains is how they call the vote. So ultimately, if you say in the comments, are they calling the vote today? You want to make sure that you understand how they call the vote, not the day they call the vote. It's how they call the vote. And when they call the recon first, linked with the bipartisan, you're done. And we're off to the finish line. And with that, thank you for joining me on this big, monstrous noontime broadcast. More of these details on Afternoons LA. You see how the details of this is so critical. Afternoons LA to 3 p.m., then followed by Evenings LA to 5 p.m. And then Overnight's Crypto. New shows today, and I can't wait to show you those shows. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. Hit that subscribe button right now for a reason. No one goes into this level of depth. No one goes into this level of reporting. And I want you part of this family, the best family there is out there. Also, like this video. Every time you like this video, I deliver a side of parsley. And it also helps in the algorithm rankings. And consider becoming a member so you get delivered to you daily all the big money on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th stimulus. Stay informed and stay focused, and I'll see you next on Afternoons LA.